The Journey of Hope, two hyenas and the team that saved them. In the heart of the unforgiving Arctic, where the winds whip through the barren land and the snow falls endlessly, two hyenas were left to die. Abandoned by ruthless poachers who had snatched them from the wild to sell them for profit, the hyenas were discarded when they fell ill, their bodies overtaken by a relentless parasitic infection. What remained of their once powerful forms was now frail and emaciated, their bodies covered in grotesque, festering wounds caused by parasitic larvae. With each shallow breath, they fought to stay alive, their eyes glazed with pain and fear as they lay helpless in the frozen wilderness. For days, the hyenas remained motionless, trapped in their agony. They could no longer move, their energy depleted by the parasitic plague that consumed their bodies. Their fur was patchy, their skin swollen and raw, while writhing worms and larvae gnawed at them relentlessly. The Arctic's icy winds did nothing but make their suffering worse, and their once sweet cries for help were now reduced to faint whispers. The end seemed near each breath a battle, each moment a slow march toward death. But life, it seemed, had not yet finished with these creatures. A team of wildlife rescue workers, part of a dedicated group that traveled to remote places to monitor and protect wildlife, was surveying the Arctic landscape. They came upon the hyenas' broken bodies, their eyes empty and their spirits crushed. When the team realized what had happened, they knew they couldn't just leave them there. The rescuers, six brave souls from different walks of life but united in their love for animals, acted quickly. They didn't hesitate for a second. Led by a veterinarian who had spent years saving animals from similar fates, the team carefully approached the hyenas. The Arctic cold bit at their faces as they knelt beside the suffering animals, but it couldn't deter them. They set to work immediately, each team member focusing on a different aspect of the treatment. With a gentle touch, they began cleaning the hyenas' wounds. The parasites' thick, writhing worms and larvae had burrowed deep, and the rescuers had to work carefully to remove them. Using sterile cotton and special antiseptic, they cleaned the festering holes, taking great care not to cause further pain. The hyenas' eyes were still clouded with fear and exhaustion, but there was a glimmer of something else therein, unspoken gratitude for those who had come to help. One by one, the team administered medication to ease their pain and bandaged their wounds with sterile gauze. The hyenas, though weak and frail, allowed the workers to handle them. It was as if they could sense that their suffering was finally coming to an end. For the first time in days, they began to breathe more easily, their breaths no longer shallow and labored. The team moved with careful precision, making sure the hyenas were stable enough for transport. They placed the animals gently into the rescue vehicle specially equipped to handle injured wildlife and set off on the long journey back to a more hospitable environment. The snow and ice of the Arctic gave way to the rolling plains of the savanna, a landscape full of life, a stark contrast to the frozen wasteland the hyenas had been abandoned in. When they arrived at the savanna, the team opened the cages slowly, allowing the hyenas to step out. For a moment, they stood still, unsure of their surroundings. The tall grass swayed in the warm breeze, and the sun, which had been hidden behind clouds in the Arctic, now bathed the savanna in golden light. The hyenas, still weak but no longer on the brink of death, took cautious steps forward. They looked up at the team, their eyes filled with a mixture of disbelief and wonder, as if they couldn't quite comprehend that they were free again. The rescuers stood back, watching with hope in their hearts. They knew that, while the hyenas had been given a second chance at life, the journey was just beginning. There were still dangers in the wild predators, harsh weather, and the struggles of survival, but in that moment, it didn't matter. The hyenas were free. They were where they belonged, in the wild, under the open sky. As the two hyenas wandered off into the distance, blending into the tall grasses of the savanna, the rescue team stood silently, feeling both joy and sorrow. They had saved these animals, yes, but they knew that their work was far from over. There were always more animals in need, always more lives to save. But in this moment, they allowed themselves to feel the quiet satisfaction of knowing they had made a difference. The lesson from this story is simple yet profound. Life is fragile, and every living being deserves a chance at survival. The resilience of these hyenas, despite their ordeal, reminds us of the strength that lies within all creatures, even in the face of unimaginable suffering. And it is through compassion, determination, and a willingness to act that we can bring hope to those in need. In the end, the hyenas were more than just animals saved. They were symbols of hope, of survival against the odds, and of the incredible bond between humans and the natural world. Their journey is a reminder to all of us that, even in the most desperate moments, there is always the possibility of a new beginning. What do you think about this incredible rescue story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.